Cool. So how are you guys today? How's everyone? I can't really see the chat, but I would like to get a bit of a sense of a pulse of how everyone is feeling. NatCos were the best thing about AIESEC. So I hope you guys are enjoying your NatCo today. And I'm so glad that AIESEC UAE is still going strong. So, cool. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my AIESEC experience. So I was a member of AIESEC in, how do I stop this? See, guys, I forgot how it works. So yes, I was a member of AIESEC starting from 2015, but I became a part of the MC only in 2016, 2017. And it's just been an amazing journey that I'm really excited to go through the memory lane with you and talk about it today. But first, just a few things. I don't know if all of you can relate or some of you can, but it's been 5 years since I left AIESEC. I don't remember everything. I don't remember the roll calls. I don't remember the names of the functions. Even I remember, IGV, OGV, all these, OGX. I don't even remember what it's called anymore. But Lato font will always remain my favorite font. Even when I was in university, I always used to use it for my presentations and things like that. I have literally infinite pajama tops from all the AIESEC t-shirts that we used to get in conferences. So that's something super special about AIESEC. I do have friends from all over the world because of AIESEC, and most of them are actually people that I've never really seen them. We just, met through, emails, sharing. I send them candidates. We chat on the platforms that AIESEC provides. So it's incredible how many friends I ended up with just because of AIESEC. It's just incredible. And somehow I ended up working in something so similar to what I did in AIESEC, but with a little bit of a twist. So when I was in AIESEC, I did a little bit of OGV and I also a little bit of IGV, but now I work as a campus recruiter. So I still work with amazing young people in order to provide them with opportunities to work for our company. So I still go on campus, still do presentations, still do talk about what we do in the company and how they can join us, and still do these small interviews with candidates. So it's funny. It's actually funny how things turned out to be, but the skill set that AIESEC provided me with somehow worked in such a great and a massive institution like BCG where I work. So it could be something that you say is an extracurricular activity, but believe me, it is something super impactful and it's going to define a large part of your career. Okay, khalas, I'm gonna stop talking about the benefits of AIESEC and how amazing it's been, and let's cut to the chase and talk about my actual experience. So this was my first ever AIESEC conference. This was someone who, both of them were part of AIESEC UAE back in 2014, 2015. And this was a small MENA region. So it was all the Arab countries there. We were talking about how to grow, how to collaborate together in order to provide a better AIESEC in the UAE, and of course, to collaborate as a region in order to provide better experience for our AIESECers and all our exchange participants. And then I kept on selling exchange for a while, and I really wanted to figure out what is this exchange and what do people do when they go on exchange. So I went on my own journey, and this was in Mauritius in summer of 2015. It was an amazing experience. I think the people in this country are from like 7 different countries. If we're 7 people, then we're all from different countries. It was the best summer of my life, and it really made me understand something. It made me understand the product I'm selling, right? I became much more valuable, like my products became much more valid because I was selling something that I actually did. So that was my exchange. It was in a very small island in the Indian Ocean, but it was the best summer of my life. And then when I came back, we were super energized to kickstart AIESEC in the UAE in a much better and nicer way. So this was our first meeting with the LC of Dubai, back in the day. So this was our MC team, along with the members of Dubai. I think we had people from the University of Wollongong, we had people from Middlesex, people from Academic City. So it was a very new thing to them, and a lot of the people that are in the photo actually stayed with AIESEC for a really long time. Some of them I see became LCPs, some become LCVPs, some became even like, you know, a part of the MC in the next years. But it was just a very cool bunch. At that stage, honestly, we didn't know what we're going to do. We just got everyone in one room, wanted to just tell them about what AIESEC is and what benefit they can get from AIESEC. And we were just, you know, 4 people, 3 of them had come from the other countries, had no idea how we can tackle this. It was a big monster of AIESEC UAE that we wanted to start. We wanted to grow the impact. So yeah, that was back in the day. And then somehow it turned from a very small chat into actually getting people from different campuses. So this was in AOS. We had our first NatCo. We invited, of course, both LCs, Sharjah and Dubai at the time. This was, we even got someone from Bahrain, someone from Kuwait, these 2 people down in order to speak about their AIESEC experience. We also, you know, tried to, as much as possible, to create impact from within the conference to have action steps going forward. So that was my very first, as an MC member, that was Fayumi, I think you're, yeah, thank you so much for muting yourself. So as an MC member, that was my first NatCo, ironically, and I'd been in AIESEC for like 2-3 years back then. So just to tell you that how small the magnitude of the entity was at the time, and how a small thing like a NatCo really brought us together, and we were having a lot of fun in that day. That was our second NatCo that we did, also with members from Sharjah and from Dubai. And as you can see, we had a little bit more people here, but the photo's a little bit cropped. I'm sorry, but it was in Dubai this time. We had a full-on team to plan it. It was just a proper AIESEC experience for our members, and we had a lot of positive experiences after it. We called it Surfco because we were surfing into the summer peak. Yes, and then I don't know if you still do Youth Speak, or still something that AIESEC does, but Youth Speak was basically a meeting with a conference, actually, with a lot of young people in order to talk about tech topics related to the Sustainable Development Goals. So we chose a few goals to focus on, and we got companies on board. We had people like Nestle doing a workshop with it for us. We had Nielsen. We had we had UNDP come and speak as well. We had CEOs from companies speaking. We had the head of HR in Nestle there. So it was just a very small idea that we had, but actually made it happen. And the girl here taking the selfie was the OCP, so she was the plan, the big boss for the whole event. And it was just a very, very big accomplishment. I think we had around 100 people attending, if I'm not wrong, but we had it in AUD, and if you're any of you in AUD, you had in the main big campus. So it was a very exciting event that we had, and it just, we run, like in AIESEC, we run on very low budgets all the time, sometimes on negative budgets. And in that event, we literally had to like go buy balloons from the cheapest place in Dubai and blow it ourselves in order to save money, like from getting from a closed place. We had to like collaborate with a company to get us the food. We had to figure things out and be very, very smart and economical with our budgets in order to make this event a success. We had to sell our idea to AUD, so they gave us the place for free. We didn't have to pay for it. We had to get a lot of, we had to get the alumni on board in order to help us get a license, because it was so hard and so expensive to get a license. So it was just a lot of, I was, I think, 19 in that photo. So like a lot of super young people doing very impactful things. And everyone there had uni, had finals, had exams, had internships, but at the end of the day, we believed in the impact that we were going to create, and also we believe in how this is gonna benefit us as people out of it. And I've ever since then, I've been, very keen on event planning, and I do it a lot in my job right now. So it's just ironic how it all worked out together. And then my highlight of my AIESEC experience was that we actually managed to get IGV in UAE for the first time in years. So this was our first batch of interns that we had during the winter peak. So they came and joined us during the winter. We were working with an organization that was aiming to reduce any stigmas or stereotypes regarding people in wheelchairs, and we would help them to make sure that wheelchairs are accessible everywhere. These were our first 3 interns ever. That was also another thing that we did on a very low budget. We had to be very smart in where the interns would stay, how we're going to manage their accommodation, how we're going to manage their food, and just, the small things that you just needed to be very smart and creative in your ways to manage. So that was the first IGV project in AIESEC in UAE back in the day. And then we had all of these people to come join us in the summer. It was hosted by the Sharjah LC. So they managed the project, and we had, I think, around 18 interns. It was a really big batch. It was also for a very cool project. So they're working with children with disabilities. They're basically doing teaching for them. And it was also a project run on a negative, non-existent budget. Something that we had to be creative, manage. We also put a lot of risk into it because we charged our interns a lot of money in order to come to the UAE. And we tried to just work with that, I think $300 we got from each to make them survive for 6 weeks. So it was quite an exciting time. I was always on the edge, always thinking of solutions. And that's where the problem solving part of AIESEC comes in. So that was also a very exciting time. And that's also in AOS, this photo. And then I graduated and I had to say goodbye to AIESEC. Not because I didn't want to stay in AIESEC more, but because I've already completed all what I wanted out of my experience in AIESEC. So I had gone on exchange, I've done OGV, I've done OG, I've done IGV. I've basically, done the things that I wanted to do, and I believe that it's time for me to leave other people in order to take a leadership journey out of it. So our experience in AIESEC was incredible. I had a very supportive MC team that one of them is actually my best friend right now. We're always in touch. It was super challenging. It was always hard. There was always something to worry about. There was always something to think how to manage. There was always a problem. But then I promised you, they were the best years of my life. Just seeing the person I became out of AIESEC was super rewarding, and I'm very grateful for what I shared with you. It makes me a little bit emotional now that we went down this memory lane. We talked about my journey. So Ahmed, do I have any time for questions, or did I speak too much?
Yes, we actually have some time for question and answers. Please.
Amazing. So if you guys want to ask me any questions about AIESEC, about my journey with AIESEC, about how life went after AIESEC, I'm happy to answer it. You can also always reach out to me if you want to have a chat.
Hi.
Hi, Nitin.
Yeah, so thank you so much. How would you describe your journey in just one word?
Life-changing.
Excellent.
Yeah, completely life-changing. The best decision I ever made was being part of AIESEC, and sometimes the easy way was to be and I actually did that once. I sent my MCPA resignation email because it got too much. I was in AUS. It was my senior year. I had to graduate with a good GPA to not lose my scholarship and to get a good job after graduation. I sent him an email resigning, and he was like, "Why?" But if you sit down and you write the cons and the pros from being an AIESEC member or an AIESEC team leader, I actually don't know anything about the structure of AIESEC right now, but I'm sure there's still the element of being a part of a team, leading a team, etc. it's just the reward of it is incredible. Like, I can sit and speak about it, and you can consider me preaching, but I'm not. I swear, Ahmed didn't tell me to say that. No one told me to say that. It definitely changed my life. Like, the professional person I am now is because of AIESEC. I also am a triathlete, and I do triathlons, and I do a lot of sports. And the commitment and the drive and the discipline I got was because of me being a part of AIESEC, being exposed to all the experiences AIESEC exposed me to. So, I mean, it is a huge part of defining who I am.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Anyone else? You guys can ask me anything, swear anything you want.
Are you able to view the chat? Because there's a question in the chat.
Oh, yes. Cool. How did AIESEC help you get a job after uni? Oh, and there's how's the exchange experience? Okay, I'm gonna start with the exchange experience. So the exchange experience was scary. I remember I wanted to cancel my flight a million times because I was so used to living with my family, spending my summer back in Egypt, where I'm from, with my friends, with my boyfriends even at the time. And for me, just, leaving all of that and spending the whole summer abroad alone with people I have no idea who they are, in a country that have no idea what it is, was scary, because you don't really know what you're going to, right? So it was at the start scary, but then I think a week in, I just never wanted to leave. I wanted to stay there forever. The work we're doing together as AIESECers, my roommate was from Portugal, but I was also in a house with people from 5 different other countries, where we became super close. We've had actually a few reunions around the world after. So it was the best summer of my life. So that was my exchange experience. And how did AIESEC help you get a job after uni? Okay, there are so many things that you learn in AIESEC, and some of them are super basic, like how to read a CV or how to write a CV. Some of them are how do you present yourself in front of people. You guys have now, even some of you have shared in the previous session things out there in front of other people, and so many people don't even have that skill, right? Just by putting yourself out there, learning different skills, having AIESEC on your CV is excellent. Like, now I'm a recruiter, right? So whenever I see someone that has AIESEC on their CV, and I kind of understand that this person has done something extra next to their studying, right? I understand that they're able to juggle. So if they come and join us and work with us, I understand that they will be able to multitask. They'll be able to juggle different things. And then also, I just had a lot of experiences. I was able to present myself well. I also had a network of people because of AIESEC that helped me when I was getting my job. So just, simple things like knowing how to talk to people, how to be professional, how to write emails, how to write proposals, how to do presentations. These things are key, and not everyone has them. So we're very lucky as AIESECers to have all these skills. Even managing teams. I was managing teams, and I was an MCVP when I was 19. I don't imagine you doing or having something of a big responsibility at such a young age elsewhere, really. So this is how AIESEC helped me get a job. It made me confident. It gave me a set of skills that prepared me for the real world. And I also got another answer saying, what kind of investment do I expect from myself in AIESEC? Financially, I actually don't really understand the question. Like, basically, do you have to pay or things like that? I don't know if that's what you mean, but if you can clarify it to me, it would be great. But you normally in AIESEC would pay for, the traveling, the conferences, the exchange. And I know sometimes it looks like a little bit of a lot of money as students, especially if you guys are students, or as someone who maybe doesn't have a very well-paying job, but it's worth it. If you don't spend this money here, what will you spend it on? Going out with your friends? Let's set our priorities straight, right? We're in a very, you're all in a very critical stage in your life, right? So set your priorities straight. Yes, a bit of money can be spent there. I remember I used to borrow money from my parents sometimes for some projects or things that I had to do. But of course, I would pay it back when the project would start making money. But you just have to set your priorities straight, understand the benefit that you're gonna get out of it, and yeah, it is expected that you would invest. At least back in the day, we had to pay for conferences, we had to pay for traveling. I mean, at the end of the day, we're a youth-run organization, right? So think of the impact of it. I hope I answered the question. Any more questions? Okie dokies. I'm gonna give it another 30 seconds. Thanks, Aman. Okay, awesome. That's it from me then. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for having me, Ahmed.
Thank you so much.